wipe the tears from your eyes. It is now time for 3 count commentaries as we talk about Monday Night Raw in this absolutely fantastic Bo Dallas segment. We'll get around to that at some point. Matter of fact, because it's not really all that ingrained into the show, we'll talk about that first. But news and notes, gotta get it out of the way. WWE made some kind of deal with Indianapolis to bring Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania to Indianapolis over the next several years, so like 2025. I don't think all 3 events will be in Indianapolis in the same year. Plus, I think they already got the venue for WrestleMania in 2025. That would be Las Vegas, right? So I think Royal Rumble will be 2025, and then probably SummerSlam or WrestleMania in 2026 or something like that. They're really putting together some interesting packages. I mean, Indiana is not really the best place in the world. Remember, WrestleMania 8 was in Indiana. It was in the Hoosier Dome, if I believe it correct. And it didn't do so well. And that's why we didn't get Flair versus Hogan, is because, their house shows weren't really drawing. And so Vince switched it to Savage and Flair. So Indiana, I don't know, man. Hopefully you guys turn out this time, but it's an interesting deal that they put together. Booking these shows so far ahead, coming together with these organizations to get these venues. I no doubt they're probably getting some kind of kickback on the taxes. Doing it as a package deal like this is good business. Just good business. Now, Triple H was talking about on Netflix, he has people thinking that Raw is going to be uncensored. What he said was, if you watch SmackDown, sometimes people chant "holy shit" or something like that, and Fox will censor it. They'll take down the audio. Sometimes they'll take down the visual, and you won't have to have those problems on Netflix. I'm like, okay, that's obvious. You also do not have those problems on cable. You see, for those of you who are maybe too young to realize, there's a difference over what you can do on network television and what you can do on cable. Now, the question will be, can they have really coarse language on Monday Night Raw on Netflix without it offending some of their sponsors? Which has always been the reason why they're TV-13. Now, they're pushing it, with the blood a little bit, but mostly they're keeping it PG. They're kind of pushing it to PG-13, but they're trying to keep it down a little bit. They're not going to let The Rock go out there and drop F-bombs. They might, but he might be the only one to get away with it. I don't think it's going to be like a regular occurrence where they're dropping regular curse words on Monday Night Raw. The idea that people are believing that the PG-13 label is going away, it's like, no, those things are locked into contracts, brother. There are literally organizations that won't do business with them if they're not PG. And those are, when you put together your demographics, you have to tell your advertisers this is the demographic that we're going for. Typically WWE is looking for the 18 to 49 or the demographic, which almost always includes younger people. There's that research article that says that it goes down to like 12. But that was in 1999 or 1998. You see small children in WWE shows now, 7 or 8 year olds. So you're not just going to turn on a dime and have them cussing on Netflix because, some 40-year-old neckbeard wants, to see F-bombs in wrestling. It's like, that's not going to happen. They're not going to nuke multi-million-dollar deals so that The Rock can curse on Netflix. I just don't think that's going to happen. It's bad business. That's bad business. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. It wasn't a bad show this week. It was actually not bad. It wasn't terrible. I think Bo Dallas carried it, even though he wasn't on the screen but like 4 minutes. So The Miz was on commentary. He did a good job all night. It seems like he's found a second career when he's done. He found himself all wrapped up in this Liv Morgan Judgment Day thing. So Liv Morgan gifted the Judgment Day they got him a PlayStation 5 with the WWE 2K video game. So Carlito is almost 50. He backstage very, very excited. Finn Balor's excited. JD McDonough, Giant Head, is excited. Megamind, he's excited. And Dominic Mysterio has an absolutely huge tray of chicken nuggets. Just like a huge tray of chicken nuggets. I saw that big mountain of chicken nuggets. I was instantly jealous. And then apparently she sent him a text or something too that was a little explicit. And he shared it with his friends. Hey, you're getting sued for that, right? You know that Vince is getting sued for sharing some of these messages that he got. Like that's what him and Brock got into all this madness for, right? And it's odd that they would do that on the day of was it the day after the anniversary of the Benoit situation? It's like somebody lacks some kind of level of awareness. Also, Dominic was not very happy about this. He doesn't really care about all these gifts. Damian Priest was like, these are all just distractions. And he wants them to get back to work on dealing with Braun Strowman and, handle this Liv Morgan thing. So Dominic is like, okie dokie, I'll figure it out. And as, the night progresses, Liv Morgan is trying to coax Dominic Mysterio into coming into the ring. But she ends up getting Zelina Vega instead. Her and Zelina have a war of words where they agreed to fight for the world title. Zelina Vega is actually a very good promo. You don't hear her talk very often, but she is a good promo. She got some sass to her. She got some style. She dressed like a cartoon character, but that's her everyday dress. That's what she does. But she's a good promo, and she's better than Liv. She's a better promo than Liv. The only problem is I have bookshelves bigger than both of these women. And I don't even have like gigantic bookshelves either. I got a floor fan that'll probably knock Zelina Vega over. My God, they're so small and slight. Anyway, Dominic Mysterio comes out there, says that he wants to help Zelina Vega win the title because he wants anybody to be the champion other than Liv. Zelina Vega smells a rat and says, nah, I don't need your help. I don't want your help. So then Liv Morgan attacks Zelina Vega. Dominic just kind of watches, doesn't do anything. So Rey Mysterio, who is, of course, in the LWO stable with Zelina Vega, or he's the leader of the stable now, he pulls Liv Morgan off to help Zelina, only to turn around and get shoved down by Dominic again. So Dominic got a cheap shot in on Rey. So Liv is extremely happy that Dominic looked out for her, so she's following him around like a stray cat. Give him a great big hug, which he threw his hands up. Like, no, I didn't do anything. I'm not doing anything. He took off because he's, I don't know, grossed out by girls or whatever weird things he's got going on here. And Liv Morgan bumps into R-Truth. Her and R-Truth have a conversation in which R-Truth realizes that, love is in the air. And reluctant heroes are the best kind, and Dominic is a reluctant hero. And knows how hard it is to make love work. So Liv says, well, I like giving Judgment Day gifts. I want to give them another gift. Can you make it happen for them to have a tag team championship match? And R-Truth is like, sure, I can do that. He talks about how much he doesn't like Judgment Day. He likes Finn. But he doesn't like JD McDonough. JD McDonough has never been in the Judgment Day, and that's somebody he don't really care for. But he'll go talk to Adam Pearce because Liv Morgan suggested it. And because R-Truth is very naive, In any event, Miz is on commentary. He hears this. He flips out. He goes to try to find R-Truth, but it's too late. R-Truth has already agreed to the match. Liv Morgan comes out of Judgment Day's locker room. Damian Priest is going in. He's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on in this here locker room? And then we find out that Finn Balor is in there. So it was just her and Finn in the locker room. This, of course, continues the story from, the previous couple of weeks ago where Finn Balor took the hotel room key. So Before Damian Priest really got into all of this, like what is she doing in here? What's going on? Finn Balor let him know we got a tag team title match, and that's because of her. And Dominic gets to fight Ray again, and that's because of her. You know, she's pulling the strings, she's helping us out. So Damian Priest is willing to let it slide this time because it's a tag team title match. And so the main event of the evening, I was floored by the fact that it was the main event, and was Awesome Truth versus JD McDonough and Finn Balor for the tag team titles. And there's a whole lot of chaos that occurred. Earlier in the night was a Money in the Bank qualifier, which featured Chad Gable, who we'll talk about later, but it also featured Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman got jumped by the Judgment Day in that match to distract him, so to make sure that he lost. So Braun Strowman returned the favor as Judgment Day crowded the ring for this tag team title match. He ran to the ring and chased off Carlito and Dominic. So R-Truth was about to hit the big finish on, I think it was Finn Balor, when Liv Morgan gets up on the ring apron, says that love's in the air, offers R-Truth a hug. He hugs her. She drapes his neck across the top rope. After dropping his neck over the top rope, shotgun drop kick, coup de grace. JD McDonough, Finn Balor are the tag team champions. And I don't know what to think. 50-something-year-old R-Truth is in the main event, which, hey, I guess it's better than nothing. Awesome Truth has been a disaster. I've hated Awesome Truth. I really have. But I don't like JD McDonough. I don't want to see him succeed. I like Finn Balor. And it's clear that this Finn Balor-Liv Morgan alliance is really helpful to his career. And everybody thinks that it's Dominic. She's outwardly talking about how much she loves Dominic. But she clearly doesn't know Dominic very well. Because she got Dominic a gigantic tray of chicken nuggets. Well, that's not really Dominic's thing. You know, Dominic's thing is chicken tenders. So, you know, she doesn't know him that well. So, but it was chicken, so she at least had the bird right. so it was, I guess it's a nice try. But this thing where Liv Morgan is trying to ingratiate herself, playing these mind games with Dominic, it's fun. It's been a really fun story. You know, the teasing of the break in Judgment Day. They've been teasing this for 2 years, believe it or not. I don't know why they treating Judgment Day like it's a Wu-Tang Clan. Like they got a reason to stick together like this. But they weaseled JD McDonough, small-foot European guy, into a main event and a championship. I see you. This is a sneak. All right. Triple H thinks that if you wrap something good around something bad, you could just sneak in people like JD McDonough. No. He still sucks. He's still pointless. He slipped over the top rope, by the way. I know Jade Cargill, you know, she's pretty new. She slips on the top rope. Everybody just calls her the worst in the world. JD McDonough couldn't even get in the ring without falling down. What a disaster. In any event, at least the titles aren't on Awesome Truth anymore. And I don't have to listen to the Miz butcher R-Truth's entrance. You know, he has been so bad. How's he been doing? He got been doing this on house shows and everything. He's so bad at that. We finally found something the Miz is not good at. All right. Drew McIntyre was in the ring. He says that he prayed for this and it happened. He prayed to the big man, or the big man made it happen, and the big man is him. He talked about CM Punk screwing him in his hometown. He promised his sick wife that he was going to win the world title, and CM Punk took that away from him. So he says he took CM Punk's dignity. He also took away this bracelet. It was a bracelet that a fan that made, but it has his wife's name, his ugly dog's name on it. And so he put it on his wrist. He says he knows that CM Punk wears this, so he'll never be alone. But he is alone, and he's going to be alone. And he says he's going to make him watch as Drew McIntyre himself climbs the ladder and wins the Mr. Money in the Bank and becomes World Heavyweight Champion again. He then goes to torment Adam Pearce by saying that he should be automatically in the Money in the Bank match because he didn't lose cleanly at Clash at the Castle. saying that, he should be the world champion right now. So Adam Pearce tells him that, look, you don't deserve it. You lost. You don't deserve it. So then Drew McIntyre turns that on his head and says, how does Seth Rollins deserve it when I beat him at WrestleMania? You saw that CM Punk screwed me, and he wants to be in Money in the Bank without qualifying. And if he doesn't do it, he's going to show him the meaning of disruption. And I'm like, oh, he's going to bully his way into the Money in the Bank. Okay, let's see. Bold strategy, Chief. Let's see how it works out for you. I hope it works out for you. Chad Gable comes to the arena. He's wearing a suit. He also got security because the Wyatt people are after him for some odd reason we haven't fully understood yet. He ends up cutting a promo about how he can't die. He won't die. And he ends up in a Money in the Bank qualifying match against Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. Earlier, we mentioned that Braun Strowman was jumped by Judgment Day, which at least took him out of the match. And so Bronson Reed did the JOB for Chad Gable. And Chad Gable is now in the Money in the Bank ladder match. After the match, the Wyatt stuff occurs. Nikki Cross slides in the ring. She scares him. He flees. She then turns her attention to Michael Cole and gives him a box. What's in the box? What's in the box? Turns out there was a videotape in the box. A videotape. A VHS tape. I was like, oh, brother. I mean, the Wyatt Six live in 1994. With the quality of the videotape, it looks like something you would have picked up from like a flea market or something. I'm going to truncate this promo to the most important parts. He looked up to Bray. Bo Dallas did. And when Bray died, it was like the most important thing in the world had been taken away from him. And nobody fully can appreciate how he feels. Nobody on this planet feels how he feels. And he says he can't let other people forget him. Doesn't want to let his brother become a mausoleum. He says they wanted to forget us. They wanted to forget all of us, but we made them remember. And that seems to be the mission statement of this organization. All these desperate talents come together to be remembered and to uphold the memory of Bray Wyatt. And all these people have played spooky characters before. And so it's kind of like a Bray Wyatt cover band, featuring people who were kind of sort of in the original band or played in the same genre. Like, Nikki Cross had done Sanity before, so she kind of fits into this thing. We know that Eric Redbeard, he was in the original Wyatt family. He was also in the Bludgeon Brothers. So he also doing a little something for Brody Lee with the big hammer and everything. Joe Gacy was doing like a crazy cult leader in NXT. Dexter Lumis is literally an axe murderer in NXT. Like, he's literally a serial killer. So, and Uncle Howdy was, of course, a thing that they were doing right before Bray died. So it's like everybody is joined together, having done similar gimmicks, and been mostly forgotten as characters that nobody really cared about until now. So now everybody's going to remember. So I'll look for it, and I think some of the talk online has been really good about this in terms of they want each person to do a sit down and have the character interview them while they're doing this. I think they should use old media too. I can't wait for them to do like Nikki Cross. There's a Zune in the box, and it's like an audio file, like an MP3 file. Can't wait for like a 45 record with Eric Redbeard. I forgot what his wrestling name was in WWE. I get, like Joe Gacy with a little cassette tape, or Betamax. That would be great if they just all use old media. There's like, smoke signals and typewriters and all kinds of crazy stuff, right? But I like the Bo Dallas thing. I thought it was really touching. And it really got it out of the way. I think confronting the, don't you think you're exploiting your brother's death? Getting that right out of the way was great. That was a good move because that was always going to be something that was going to dangle over the head of this character and dangle over the head of this story. Going right at it, getting it out of the way, getting people on board, saying, okay, this is not about, you guys exploiting Bray. It is about you feel like he truly is still alive as long as you're doing this. It's not dead. It's not, encased in amber. It's not over. It's still got some legs to it. It's still got life to it. Now, as long as they don't turn it into shit, which could always happen, I think it's a good legacy for them to carry. And I don't have a problem with it. I do question how it's going to transition into matches, but that's further down the line. We can figure that out when we get there. So I kind of want, before I move on, let's address this whole thing about last week. They had the really big debut last week, and then I think they went out as a group to like a burger joint or whatever, and they took a picture, and the picture ended up online. Everybody then started running around, oh, they're ruining the gimmick already. I mean, they're going out to Whataburger and eating hamburgers like normal people. I'm just like, man, what is this, like 1962? Like, what? They supposed to keep the gimmick up? I thought that's done. These new guys do not hold gimmicks. They don't do that. They drop that gimmick immediately. Everybody knows what it is. And I think they added that into the story, by having Uncle Howdy interview Bo Dallas the way that they did it. It's kind of like they're telling you that all of this is about keeping Bray's legacy alive. Of course, you would prefer, I especially would prefer, if this was something aimed at a specific talent, because again, how is this going to transition into wrestling matches? Because ultimately, you do have to find the ring eventually. Like, you can put it off as long as, possible. But eventually, somebody's got to get in the ring for a reason. So, I'm interested in how they're going to make that transition, especially with Triple H, at the helm. You also have a unique issue with the story being what it is. The crazy amount of sympathy that you've injected into this story with Bo Dallas, that is very real, being dumped into this very fictionalized, highly fictionalized story. That can have issues. Like there could be something there where, there's too much reality in your fiction, where yes, everybody knows that Bray Wyatt is his brother. Everybody knows that Bray Wyatt is legitimately dead. Everybody knows that this is legitimately a legacy kind of group. So they're just baby faces, and they're a sympathetic group. So even if they do heel stuff, you realize that they're doing it really just to keep Bray Wyatt's name alive. And maybe that was a mistake in terms of telling people why this is happening. And breaking that immersion. And talking about on-screen immersion. So, I don't know, but it's an interesting creative direction by basically creating this fantasy where these guys are ghouls, essentially babyface ghouls, but at the same time, it's just a cover band because a more popular band passed away, and you have to try to come to grips with that, all while also like appreciating them as individual talents that are doing something new, while also saying that they're upholding the legacy, while also saying they might put a hole in the head of a babyface, while also saying, how is a witch going to end up wrestling? How is, the giant rabbit with the mask going to end up wrestling? I don't know. But these questions are interesting ones, and I want to see it play out. So I'm interested in watching it play out. All right, next. Lyra Valkyria wins her Money in the Bank ladder match, qualifying, defeating Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane actually came to work tonight. I'm very impressed. Kairi Sane has been so low-key I don't think that people don't even notice she's in the building half the time. She real quiet. She's real quiet. But she actually put her working boots on this time. So Shayna Baszler just exists. Just absolutely exists. Speaking of Shayna Baszler, her tag team partner posted a picture of herself with her hands on her knees and bent over. Zoe Stark. I never gave somebody who's showing a booty picture, I never gave them a thumbs down before, I don't think. She deserved 4 thumbs down. I mean, she should be waterboarded for what she... This is terrible. Cakes are not rising. There ain't enough cream in the world. Zoe Stark needs to fuck off. All right. Oh, I forgot about this. Brian Breaker, Ludwig Kaiser. I forgot about this. So Brian Breaker and Ludwig Kaiser, they had a fun heel versus heel match, even though Brian Breaker ended up working mostly babyface. Kind of no-selling and, you know, showing his intensity. He was amazing. Brian Breaker's a phenomenon. The people are really involved with him. The match is thrown out when Sheamus attacks Brian Breaker. I'm sorry, he attacks Ludwig Kaiser. This leads to another 3-man brawl. Brian Breaker then bangs on Adam Pearce's door, demands an Intercontinental Championship match, to which Adam Pearce says he'll think about it. Then Sami Zayn just happened to be there. Wet hair and all. He's not doing anything, but his hair is wet. I don't know why his hair is wet. He didn't do anything. He basically said anytime, anywhere, and Brian Breaker said Money in the Bank. So Adam Pearce was like, it's official. So Money in the Bank, Intercontinental Championship match, Sami Zayn versus Brian Breaker. It seemed to me like they were building towards a triple threat match between Sheamus, Brian Breaker, and Ludwig Kaiser. And then it was announced that Ludwig Kaiser was injured. I don't remember what kind of injury it was. But I think that is why they changed it to Sami Zayn versus Brian Breaker for the Intercontinental title. Because it seems to me like they were going to just do one of those Money in the Bank qualifying triple threat matches with these guys and put one of them in, which probably would have been Ludwig Kaiser anyway. So, Kaiser, sorry to see that he was injured, but he's really good. I saw this way back in the days of NXT. I saw that he was really good. And Brian Breaker's been killing it. He's been doing tremendous. He needs to smash Sami Zayn for that belt. I mean, he needs to put Sami Zayn in the dirt for that belt. The thing is, this is how he was booked in NXT 2.0 to just smash people. Folks complained because they were like, he's a rookie. Why are you doing that? Vince was like, fuck it, put him over. He's amazing. Put him over. You know? Ciampa and all these guys just getting crushed in the ring. Gunther crushed. Why stop now? Go ahead and just have Braun rip apart Sami Zayn and walk around with the Intercontinental title for a couple of months. That would, to me, make a lot of sense. Okie dokie, let's move on. There was a vignette for Seth Rollins. I don't know why, but it included like pictures of him as a kid and everything. He had a promo segment with Damian Priest. Let's truncate this. They decided to sweeten the pot by putting a gentleman's agreement on it. By saying not only is it a championship match, but if Seth Rollins loses, he cannot challenge for the title as long as Damian Priest holds it. And if Seth Rollins wins, not only does Damian Priest lose the title, but he has to leave Judgment Day. Damian Priest agrees because he doesn't need Judgment Day. They need him, which led to some oohs. Gunther then came out and said the better man between the two of you will be the lesser man to me at SummerSlam. I mean, it's almost as if we're ignoring the Money in the Bank is a thing that occurs. I would imagine they're probably going to put this match on before the Money in the Bank men's match. And they're probably, in order to prevent these, logic of why don't you just cash in the Money in the Bank and create a bigger title match between Gunther or somebody else. I do believe that Seth Rollins is more likely going to win the title back. And they're going to do Seth Gunther at SummerSlam and probably have Seth drop it to Gunther. That seems to be reasonable to me. Triple H likes matches. He's a match guy. And I think the match between Rollins and Gunther is better than the match between Priest and Gunther because there's a clearly defined babyface and heel. and there's a sympathy built into Seth Rollins. You know, the big return, getting the belt back. So that could be something. Also, you could have the Money in the Bank winner screw everything up, which is entirely possible as well. But I like the little side bet they put together. You know, that was very interesting. I forgot about Chad Gable too. So Chad Gable went back to Otis and Maxine and all them and apologized after being scared by the Wyatts, or well, scared by Nikki Cross. Even though I don't know if she's going to buy Nikki Cross or not, it doesn't matter. He apologized, said families fight, it's what they do. Then Otis says, nope, we're not going back, we're gone. Maxine says, well, I'm glad you're okay. You know, maybe give Otis some time to, because he really looked up to you and you hurt his feelings. And I was like, oh, poor Butterball Otis. Oh, look at him. He ain't got no neck, but he got all the feelings. So then as soon as Chad Gable turns around, there's the Creeds and Ivy Nile. And they're like, hey, are you okay? And he's like, no, I need some help. which speaks for itself, right? So they're basically just throwing this in your face. So take that. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire defeat Katana Chance and Caden Carter. I can't believe I just said all of those words. Then Damage Control jumped Alba and Isla and beat them up because they want their tag team titles back. The twin. On a positive note, Isla and Alba don't seem to be the tag team champions much longer. They're likely going to beat Damage Control to further the Damage Control breakup, and then they're going to wrestle the Twin Towers and lose the belts back. I can see it in the future. That would be the smart move, if we're being honest. Karrion Kross defeated Kofi Kingston after AOP jumped Xavier Woods backstage and distracted Kofi. So Karrion Kross, he's beaten 7 world champions and 0 people care. That's terrible because the guy seems to have everything that you need to be a main event level superstar in WWE. Just can't get there. And I think part of it is also not just the losing that he did. I'm still trying to figure out why people don't care about him. I think it's also that he doesn't really mix it in with the top guys. He seems to be mixing it in mostly with the mid-carders and the guys who are kind of perpetually over, like Kofi or Ray, but it doesn't have like tremendous heat to it. It just seems to be an okay thing. He needs something like some real heat to establish like real dominance. And Triple H is not going to do that. So, whatever. Anyway, this episode of Raw was actually not bad. I appreciate that everybody on the show has some kind of storyline. There was nothing on the show that was a waste. There was nothing on the show that I thought was completely pointless. I loved the Bo Dallas segment. I was a fan of the Zelina Vega segment. The Damian Priest, Seth Rollins segment was okay. Loved the first match, Braun Breaker and Ludwig Kaiser. So I think I got enough out of this show to say that it was a solid Raw. It wasn't the shits. Obviously there's some things that could be done better, but it's not nearly as bad as it has been in the past. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys later.